office was a remarkable place. I had dual high-definition monitors, a very comfortable steel-case chair. I had a magical mouse that actually predicted my next move. It told me where to click next. And then we were diagnosed with a baby. And now, about almost 2 years later, all of my ergonomic settings are messed up. My mouse is missing. And there's actually peanut butter inside of my keyboard such that every time I hit A, S, or the Z, X, that the letters stick. And so I get a string of A's across. You don't realize how many times these letters show up whenever you type. And anytime I need to make a conference call or take a call, I have to do it in my wife's closet. I can't work from Starbucks. It's too loud, and their Wi-Fi is unreliable. And I've looked for office space. A, it's usually pretty far. B, it's expensive. And C, honestly, it's just kind of lonely. And I don't have a lot of requirements. I don't need much in an office. And when you're moving, everywhere you look, you see boxes. Well, I'm driving around town, and I'm looking through this lens of, can I work from there? And after a particularly frustrating week, I was heading home. It was Asr time. And I go to my masjid. It's a large suburban masjid. Big parking lot. Safe. Underutilized classrooms. Right? Nice air conditioning. Right? Great lighting. Zen-like silence. And so the idea of Mosque Inc. was born. I mean, why can't I work from the masjid? Mosque Inc. is short for Mosque Incubator, which is short for you need a startup environment. Your masjid has space. You need the support of a community. Your masjid has people. You've got a new business idea. The masjid needs new thinking. It needs money. Mosque Inc. is a business incubator at your masjid. Now, this isn't an old model, but it's a new approach. Now, an incubator is a very simple concept. I mean, physically, it's just office space, right? But at a masjid, this could be as easy as setting up 4 or 6 cubicles inside of a locked classroom. Set up some comfortable chairs, a dedicated Wi-Fi, printer, a great coffee machine, right? Maybe a mini conference room, maybe a whiteboard. And then they would lease out each cubicle for 6 months to a startup at a really nominal rate, something like $100 a month. I mean, how many people do we know have great business ideas that could benefit from using a space like this, from having a cubicle like this? I feel like we're all just 1 degree of separation from people that have ideas, that have new business ideas that could benefit from this. I've got a friend, and anytime I'm in a random hotel and I want to get out and see what the city has to offer, then I call my buddy. And he can really give me some authentic experiences, not like the touristy hotspots. Right? It's not an app. It's better than what you'd find on TripAdvisor or Google, because I can say, hey, what's happening in the city this weekend? And you can tell me about the kite flying competition, or you can tell me, hey, did you know that so-and-so lives there? And there's a program going on tonight, and on your way there, you ought to stop by this place. That's where the locals eat. I mean, I feel like we could all use a friend like this. We've all told him that he needs to start this as a full-time business. We would all support him, and he'd be super successful at it. I mean, we all know this guy, right? Maybe it's you. All he needs is a little bit of space. And frankly, especially the suburban masajid. They have space. Some of them have really nice resources. For example, I've been to masajid that have commercial kitchens. And these commercial kitchens only get used for 1 month out of the year. So why can't they lease out that space to people that want to start businesses there? How about from 7 to 11 o'clock in the morning? They can lease it out to somebody just for a really low rate. And that person would be able to serve the community what they do, or they'd be able to start their own catering business. All they need is space. Incubators are truly epic environments. 9 out of 10 new businesses will fail. But the success rate for small businesses in incubators is very high because they can leverage each other's experience. Think about 4 or 5 people sitting around in their classroom, in the Mosque incubator, and someone says, hey, I'm filling out this form, and I need a bank. Does anyone have a bank recommendation for me? And someone will say, hey, you know what? I filled out that form, and you don't have to have a bank there. You can actually use PayPal. It's free. You can use it for commercial accounts. It's interest-free. And it works perfectly to file your S corporation status. Wow, you just saved me a couple of $100 in a couple of hours. You can leverage each other's experience. They're safe environments where businesses can crash and playbooks can get totally re-scripted. All that can happen in a week. They're safe environments where you get access to mentors. I can guarantee you that at your masjid, wherever you are, there's a retired CPA. He probably prays on the first row of the musalla. And if you reached out to him and said that, hey, I'm starting a new business, would you be able to help me with some of these tax forms? He'd even be able to give you some of the workarounds, some of the loopholes in there. And if you ask nicely, I'm sure that he might even volunteer to come in at noon on Wednesdays and give you a Finance 101 course to everybody in that little incubator. Mentors want to help you succeed. And there's lots of them at the masjid. Finally, incubators give you community support. At the masjid specifically, this proposition is a win-win. Let's say you're brilliant at planning events, picnics, parties, weddings, piece of cake, right? You drop the kiddos off at school, you go to your office at the masjid, building your business. You pray Dhuhr and Asr there, right? You ask the Creator for barakah in your business. Someone sticks around after the salah, they see the name of your startup business, they walk over to your office, hey, assalamu alaikum, we want to have an Eid party. Moon sighting, moon walks, moon pies. Can you do that for us? That would never happen at a Starbucks. There's no Eid party planner on Angie's list. Right? Let's say there's another mosque incubator on the other side of town or on the other side of the country. Let's say you contact someone over there and you guys decide to switch seats for 2 weeks. Suddenly you get access to that entire community. You can sell your services over there. And that person can come over here and they'd be able to open up a new avenue for them, a new door for them. People. But there's a big risk that we need to talk about, and this is what scares most board members and people that are involved in the administration of the masajid, and that's the money piece. It's going to cost at least $10,000 to build 4 to 6 cubicles in a classroom, chairs, Wi-Fi, a printer, coffee. And with a return of only $500 per month, your ROI on that $10,000 is about 2 years. Right? So let me give you another example. There's a kid who graduated from law school, passed the bar, couldn't get a job with any firm in town. He starts his own firm. Let's call it the Hudud Legal Firm at your masjid's incubator. Writes a dozen wills, arbitrates a divorce, even has non-Muslim clients. Very successful, mashallah. He moves out, hires 6 people. Hudud becomes huge in the U.S. And he never forgot that you gave him open arms to start his business. Your community supported him. So for the rest of his life, he allocates 3% of his gross profits every month back to your masjid, directly to the masjid. This is a river of revenue. And what's the worst case scenario? The masjid has spent $10,000. None of the startups bear any fruit. Some people have been working at the masjid, attending the daily prayers. Let me tell you, in some of the suburban masajid, they need about $1 million this year just to cover their operational costs. So I know money is a big deal. And Ramadan's about to come up, and they're going to beg and beg and beg and not let anyone leave until they've been shamed, until they've been made to feel guilty about donating, and then they'll sell you a little piece of Jannah through your donation, right? Hey, Mr. Masjid, you're scaring the kids. You're starting to look like the Shriners Clubs. But we need people with ideas. We need artists and entrepreneurs and women and young professionals. We need thinkers. We need new blood, new thinking. So I've got a really radical idea. This year, instead of fund begging, why don't we have fund giving? On the 27th night of Ramadan, when everybody walks into the masjid, give everybody a $100 bill. No speeches. If they keep it, that means they need it. And you win and they win. Yeah, they're your community. They feel great, you feel great. If they give it back, they'll feel wealthier than Bill Gates that evening. But I think they'll give it back with a little extra. And regardless of whether they do give it back or they don't give it back, there will definitely be more barakah in your wealth for the rest of this year. That money that you'll have will go farther than the $1 million that you would have raised otherwise, that you would have begged for. On that night, instead of fund begging, offer scholarships, no strings attached, to both Muslims and non-Muslims. How often have we done that? Name me the community that's done that. And that night, offer $10,000 plus 1 cubicle seat for anyone who wants to start a business at your masjid's incubator. When you get people competing for 1 of 5 seats, you will definitely get some brilliant ideas. I believe that creating an incubator will bring you people, it will bring you money, and it will bring you relevance. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.